Manipur Haibasi, somehow the Meiteis have guarded this land called Manipur. And it is our responsibility to retain it. Haibagi Wakalona Machatavadon of Sipawu Uyeb. Maduna Suerambia Equida Huzik, Sibaki than a Chongtorpungam Bibasi. Over the woo, Aina Mayam, the summit of Jaridi, history process, the nothing remains permanent forever. Identity comes, identity goes. New identity emerges, many more people comes into the line. Maitai hairibasi kanano ana yenguragadi aidi maitai nate mangang dagi lakpadu aidi khuman neba. Tawbadabu khuman su integrate tawgrini moirang na last integrate tawgrini. That is how maitai emerged. And akoina aina haiba kanda mamang the interview amada yam song na amana commentary cookie singbu maitai the yawe hairisi kamaina hairino. But I think I don't have to hide all the time. So guys, I'm sick of Moirang Tim Karai Dagino. See, I don't be over. Absorb the Grivani. Kurkul the lady, Mayam, Sain, field work, the research over the, they are all Burmese origin. Aduna Manipur Haribul Lamsida, Maitain a lit Ragasu. The very identity of Meitei is not one homogeneous community. Different communities na pullaga, charu, maronaraga, chatna tonaraga, semla kiba kanglup neva Manipur harisi. Naga sinchu masid changri madu Meitei one gribani. Kuki sinchu changa agasid Meitei one gribani. Kuki hairana koina at least last 11 months ida koi sing ngaure. Kuki hairaga tilai kumbi chubadamna. As if Hagasarani have a the fact is they have also been part of this. Uziki crisis in a Tongan be issue Amaniko Madudi Kontanarasi. Manipur Hariba idea see Simaina Punna Tonaraga Maiti Hariba Kanglups in a Litoragadi Lakre over the Wu. Aina Samit of Janingisi, maybe Oza can take it forward. 1949 the August Aquina. Independent Pangya had a lower heresy, controversial, but 47, the 49 Bauki, 47 August, the Horaga, 49 October Bauki Manung Sida. Manipurgi political elites and experiment to give idea to Omtang Yang Biova. Aina submit to Janingidi Nangi traditional Maitegi legacy, Amadusu Maharaja, Maming the Leva. Taubatabu. Constituent Assembly to the Chingi mi, Tamgi mi, Muslim population, proportional representation, ama maga experiment ma taunabagi democratic setup ama experiment taunanabakan honaram Brian I khalle. Aduga monarch to the maintaining Todidum Laiba, Manipur ginning Tona, tutelar in a Tamaga, elected representatives. Aduga ethnic line the represent Taunana Honarambase, Akugi Maitegi 1949 political elites in Duna try the Wahoki, live of Tigri 49 the Akuisi merged the Givadagi somehow Akuigi electoral Akuigi right to the Matkredana part C Laki Badagi. Aduna Aina submit of Janingidi somewhere where Meiteis have continued to retain that legacy and also responsibility of bringing this idea of Manipur till that. But the same Meiteis in 1947, our own elders tried to have a proportionate representations of those who will govern this place. Aduna akoi the tradition ga modernity ga gi tu na chana na bagi try amadi tauki bra na khalle. Madu akoi na hujik public sphere the Akugi people to contact the Akugi Wakalon, the Kanba Madichangeva, Koina, Maitai Katana Manipur, same Gadava, Nati, same Gekalagati Madu Queen at Piaro have. Masi Owen at Hamzagay, problematize when at Tamagamasi, Punna integrate the Minaraga, Kamlu Kudima Jaminar Batava never Masida, whether if you like it or not. Aigi legitimacy, Aigi hegemony, Kairakani Hiragasu, somewhere. Democracy set pataragadi we have to play with that. Hoy, mapandagi migration ki issue na sing baduna tuana na inarase the idea of Manipur city aigi oinati. It cannot be hegemonic. but it has to be democratic representations. And this is not Bhagat OINAM saying, it was tried out in 1947 by our own elders' generations.
Thank you, Oja. Oja, adu makata jarakpada. The idea of Manipur say it's not just the Meiteis per se, but Meiteis are of course taking a lead in that. I think Professor PRIYORANJAN should have a say in that, whether you would agree on that or not. But more than that, Professor, if you could also explain in terms of the economic formation of how we can conceptualize Manipur in terms of how it was formed in terms of the economic history.
The idea of Manipur, see, Bhagat na.
On the way.
Tabiram. The idea of Manipur is essentially a Meitei concept. Similarly, it cannot be denied. But idea of Manipur said, Masi Aikoina Manipur haiba nation amagi haijarage within India, a sub-nation. Maki identity formation is da Meitei singna originally low kiba conceptualization da madu over time pre-colonial period da colonial period da modern state lakus da that concept and idea of Manipur do have we as the lead community akoina madu matamgi matung inna akoina semdokpa ngamgi darbra ibisine akoi mangalei ibisi because an identity oiro any society da transformation is the essence of existence akoina stagnant oiraba hanigdir pedo oba adorgadi it will be always challenged by forces which are within us or which is exogenous or global in nature. Sini ay ko ngasi face to with dilemma se. Aduna any community, any nation in the process of transformation of society or social transformation, we have to be with the times, with the people. Which is suddenly made three mamang the there was absolute confidence in us that major community wherever Nagas, Makoisu cool down Taure, the idea of Manipur, the insurgency of the Lak with the Giamu Kanjalairaga, they were slowly coming back to the idea of Manipur. The idea of Manipur is the health Taura, but ethnic group amana suddenly that is the question whether a koina the idea of Manipur said magi transformation sida I could stagnant on a leiru rabra have the issue never yam some have a global politics kangaktaba India have a nation that needs kakadu the koi say I mean we as a community and a state government as a did we not think sufficiently akoina akoigi madugi mistakes into karino karito godiga haibido madune logic. Now the question is what is the idea of Manipur sesida karino butawri basi I think Manipur na the idea of Manipur akoina mimic tawri basi Southeast Asia gi magi social formations nation state emerged with maduni mimic tawri basi koise loose federation of communities adugi loose federation na punjal le haraga akoi gi state ai se loyumbagi matamda state formation to complete oire ka haidana 11th century da kaina haidibasi maduda tawri but it was not through war it was through some chieftains clans ingi marakta kara khenaba leiragasu inter clan or inter chiefships ki marakta kara differences leidana haifet China ragasu ultimately aikoisi yamna democratic oiba monarchical oidaba monarchical the oire herga Southeast Asia the oire loose federation hai bitare adana piba singsina clan head singsina makhoina punjal herga ningthau ba heram dribani aduna pakhang basai sida mana head of the heads hai do khwaidiki maru oiba piba ne hai rega matiki concept ta democratic oina phamdo humbumari haptana mantri ga kase phambo humbumari dudagi Kallerga Taraga, it was a democratic society where the monarch, Bakangbugi, absolute dictatorial organ was a later. I could say Adugumba, Yamna loosely structured and a democratic polity and social organization, the same given name. That continued to the Herega, Marakshida Koina, 16th century, the 17th century, the Hinduism, Lakpa Haure, the Muslims came in. And ideology that they acquire, validity, Maitegi, that Maitegi ideology or religion to animism to dum lady. Aduna Quina, Yamna, democratic oiba, Adga, collectivist oiba, Southeast Asia the word Aduni. Community is more important than the individual, I would say. Maduki, that sort of collectivist oiba, nationhood ama state ama. Akoina loin bagi matam da achieve to kiwado akoi ideology di amusung akoi social organization do democratic social collectivist organization oiba aruga akoi religion sisu animist oiga human oiba nan hierarchical oiba haibetare even rank faulaitam haibetare ningthau pongbo tara haibidu he did not necessarily have a distinct rank at the later hierarchical and rank later badumba social organization oigidabane ideology. Now, Madhu Hinduism lakpum matam dedi Madhu da change have the social transformation do Madhu ning thongna logi bito because Hinduism have ideology to the akoi societies in a more rationalized, in a more structured oiba adu oigani neomniti inba institutions sing labor khotpa haitna probably the Maharaja Garinosna Hiresi Magna Kandana this social transformation is necessary haitna Kanbo Eramgani Aduna that Hinduism says Lokshan no the resistance later somehow the people adopted it. Social transformation number one. Madudati Akwegi Hanalariu democratic polity aduga rent society dugia the Gikan Natwok Reharaga la conflict tensions. And a high ideology, which is mainly dictated by religion, culture and values. Masi paradigm changes, Hinduism, all over South Asia, you will see it. Modernity and tradition. Madu, at every epochal time, traditions, same thing. Dharma ideology say Islam or Buddhism or we have been syncretic all over Southeast Asia. Our own values our values exist, our traditional values exist. Aduna this tension of ideologies sina social transformation social transformation see materialistic oiba world of the chatkadra Western type of bureaucratized Weberian iron case the latena yamna materialistic nation chatkadra high biduga so the value system dana ideology dana values dana traditional values do remnants strongly labor because Southeast Asian people including we in the Northeast India religious we are very religious. Not in terms of Hinduism, Islam, religion as religion, some sort of a spiritual being though. Aduna masi nasiba udal layiri have masi class. So I could see ideologically neither here nor there. Similarly, aduna idea of Manipur that as long as ako'y nga sagi sana mahigi, adi mas na dictate torpa ako'y ranking sa. Laikai sida may rapay bising na maru oibra. Laikai sida al na maru oibra. Naak na mantri ora ay bungo na idol ni. So that value system singdo aikoida hanigi traditional ideologies the lady singdo madu remnants singdo akoida adapt tobang ngam the bagi issue singine bakoina uri bis ani sum kanjab aduna di kamdore generational gap ta natana hujik seisida naha singi marakta an singi marakta su masi clash lae naha kharna yamna rational oiba progressive oiba the modern global society adom do adugi value system zatpa indigenous manipur da hojaba koi gi college tamba koi school tamba koi khungang da leiba naha singna the idea of maitai chauvinism silari aduna these dichotomies we'll see all over Southeast Asia and I koi gi mang da leiri ba se I koi na create the idea of Manipur which later on Naga su Kuki su include the herega yamune peripherals then I can tribute low manung dutan manu villages in the Yamkana Kakanoto Rudaba Luzoina, but the idea of Manipur was being built up by us. Adunain Hajanimidi Masiki conflict Madu Aquina Aqui social transformation yam critical to be juncture ni Masida Aquina right steps low regadi the idea of Manipur itself may break up anytime, anytime.
Wonderfully put. In terms of the political development, let's say, I'm not trying to put us against each other in sense of the communities, but Naga society, let's say, or let's say Naga community to use a better word. Naga community labor political development in their sense of how they conceptualize themselves as a political being, or in that sense, moi Naga sing na Masai akhoi Naga sing na in one sense, Masai politics se kamaina engage tawgi haibagi their political development siga oja koi maitei gi siga let's get to cookies with Oja Priyoranjan, but for Nagas oja sigi sense of being a political being se engagement in politics se Naga ga maitei ga kitang difference oja kitang explain to bi biya.
Can you elaborate a little more? I'm not very...
So let's say, for example, to be very clear, concretely, let's say I have spent around 6-7 years of my life in JNU. People who are doing their PhD, when we talk about Manipur and the idea of Naga, idea of Meitei and all that, they seem to be more heightened in one sense, more heightened in one sense about their idea, their political identity, so to speak. And whereas for us Meiteis, it's a little bit different. We are sort of detached.
See, now he is the first one who mentioned about JNU. I didn't. So JNU is in the public sphere nowadays a lot. So, and I don't have any inclination towards electoral politics, so I can be very honest. So I'll tell you candidly. Kitang mayamna ingondati kitang kano oye na di hairak pe chauvinistic oye na hairak pati ay. But the point is, Naga, Kuki, and all these communities, their political identity that has come up in the Northeast, even Mijos included, is fairly different from Assamese and Manipuris, Meiteis particularly. Karigino na haina haivakanda, sigi political national identity of these communities, tribals hairasiko. Ado akoi jo tribe oidoramnina yamlu revaise ST oidoramnina. So who is to be tribal, who is not? Better not assume. No, there are many friends who is going to pick me by the neck. British colonialism ki hegemony neba ayamba Naga hariba term se karam kandagi lakyeva, Kuki hariba term se karam kandagi lakyeva. These are all after British invasion of this region. Two forms British invasion. One is militarily and politically. Of course, every military controls is subsequently political. Or ahan bada maithiba pirani, militarily you will be defeated. Then subsequently political establishment comes up. But another point which goes side by side is evangelizing activity of Christianity. masi angak pa phang na Maitai were all even targeted. Pettigrew ki first target ti Maitai ne ba. Aduna nationalism ki aspiration amaka yauna sagar la iba Naga nationalism haibi gara Kuki Chin Jo la iba mayam sida one colonial British colonialism ki impact magi military control administration plus political ideologies side by side Christianity ki kanu amaga evangelizing religious package amaga ani sin punna chatpaneba and they are very new 20th century phenomenon never. Early 20th century phenomenon never. Nagaland launch matam the 1920s or 30s Kohima ki tawad 1820s or 50s. Whereas Maitai nationalism sidi Manipuri haigadra Maitai haigadra masidi kuiraba chahi lising ani ohum lisang sida tapna sagat khibak furup amagi identity never. It is much older than colonial discourses. Unfortunately, if we become Christian, then we may also be victim of that political dominance. Akhoi da husi bhagwa survive to instinct ama lairi che. Colonialism ki mamang da ki lagba akhoi ki nationalism me juna anoba loan ni akhoi ki identity se. Empire building ki sigi cultural identity ki forces se koi han da ki lairak paduna neba aduna ani se always khena ni aduna akhoi ki Maitai ki dilemma sin ho jaina khanjabada one is nangumba aigumba English theoretical discourses me am they am trained tawraba public sphere ki self determination ki sovereignty ki si me am si nation state ki si me am si da turaga lairik tamaga wakhalon sagat pa kangu. Whereas we forget that akhoi tonganba trained of historicity of an empire. Empire haidrasu kingdom. Empire de am chawlaga su kingdom ama sustain tawraga lakpang expand tawrami pixel lei ko maithi gi ba mayam ama yauri hojik su tawrai basine still we are resisting. Aduna masig ethos ama yauri se sidi British na piba na teba. British ki mamang da ki leiram bane aduna akhoi Maitai sing na yengadabadi akhoi gi ida tongda unconsciously subconsciously leireibado madu theorize the woman changne and this is a challenge to people like me. Western theories the political theories khatang na inaraga sagatpa aduga ari basing duna kaimta fitin tawang ngamdaba madu fit tawbase akhoi gi greatest challenge neba. Now new education policy da huzik indigenous tradition indigenous knowledge gaina laise masi akhoi gi amuk akhoi gi pari puri du gi yengba matam ama changbra aduga not to be orthodox but kamaina khoina sustain tawra even no haibudo akhoi gi nationalism se a modern context ta kamaina tu na chatpang ngamdo ine se masi aso challenge ne kanam tan thijana kan work tawdri ba political theories akhoi tawba ma changbra na I khalle aduna Yore Manangna Sagi Naga Singa Canary because that is where they began their national identity only in the 20th century. Whereas for us, 1100 Naurim Uzasana Zavan Uzakaram Kandano Sibu Maniam Sibam Hai, Apu is it 10, 11 to Urambia, 12 to Urambia, and no Uzada. The history is a quite the Kitan loosely whipped the Kitan hardened a markings yam kanna tawba wat but I just student of philosophy please forgive me sometime century ama ani je ta thedok thejen tawgi bagi post historian natabagi problem adum lai adu 11th century sida or 12th century da akhoi gi nation building gi picture aga su certain sagat pa horam mi ba potse madu akhoi na khangadabane se naga sing nama hairi ba e noina akhoi control toram dena Noidi Hagla Magachat Kibayuan. But then your idea of nation, and next session the HOMEN Yauri, he has been working on it. Westphalian Treaty ki matang the matung in Europe the nation single and the boundary legadone haiva, standing army legadone haiva, crossing Tonada the country amagi Taubataragasu permission Lonaba, City Amna thing 1600 Lagaport never Masiki City. aduna madugi idea dagi moina maitei singna control torum de haibane ba akhoi gi maitei gi empire building dadi lan tarurani loipot hangurani amuk thamamani sahi gi amuk loipot amuk loruni and that is what has been happening in Mughal empire na control torum mesu karai da torum gen magi castle du khatana de beleram misi magi fort to the kila do otherwise the what you call agricultural sectors is left out magi matam du moina madu gi tax loru baduna control to bagi sign neba akoina su loipot ka ba hairisi madu control to bagi sign neba aduna even nation building ki concept si masi akoina nainaba ma changi aduga moi gi wakhalong akoi gi wakhalong gi khenari se moi gi 20th century dagi modern democratic polity or nation building ki argument to the sagal of port ne akoi gi much more earlier admain thamse
thank you Mahatara Kodoja, Saigi, Southeast Asia as a young Matam Doja, Southeast Asia itself, that I think Maitegi political formation, or for that matter, Maitei polities, it is always in relation to something. Aduido Nagagi Matangusu, Ozada point out, but somehow we are all tied together in the concept of Manipur, although in one sense.
See, I just will tell you one thing in front of all of us, is recorded, Nico. And I see Kaikum Kanda. Politically incorrect we yamna ngangi haiba adu please forgive me let me say it akhoi gi weakness akhoi ni isana share tawdragadi karai da tawduino akhoi na hoji kuki gi third mesh digi torok pusida separate administration tale na hek tanga phangna saure as if nothing happened earlier challenge leram dabadona 18 June 2001 to karino Assembly may thagribudu without territorial limit and a laga moi demand separate alternative arrangement and a hybrid alternative arrangement hybrid Manipur kind and city Nagagi movements the Yaurabaneva. Akwigi Maitegi politics, Akwigi political leadership kimasi, I don't blame them. But we need to think about it. Sincere with the Vanatiko Maitegi leadership, I swear. The 2001 the Palamba Kanglup Singhugi leaders in Zangapang sincere. I have no doubt about their sincerity. The Nagagi Tresila Aka the Maiti Singna Kuki the Chongthan Badong Obama. I may be wrong. Subsequent formation of district Mayam Tugai Raktana Naga Mayam Nagapanga to the Pen the Bagi Saugina. District Kamina form Togi. Kampuk Pijikamina form Tore. Nagasing register way. Then once you form Kangpokpi district and you think you are breaking the backbone of the Naga secessionist movement. But what happened is by default you started giving seat, though unconsciously, intentionally nattava, madugi byproduct, IP phenomenon haitare. Kano the Kangpokpi se the kingship sulae, kuki group singi kuki Kangpuki, plus muigi administrative officers in Jumuigi lae. Village councils में आम की लाइव election दे की लाइव में आम दी municipality councils so every law is formed by them अदुना कनो कोई की कौबरू की कोई बदक मोइना लोइन मक साजल लाइव village expand तो रही बसी legitimate उशल हला इसी so somewhere the political leadership at that time I am talking about leadership the Meitei Hujing namukari haige bu public aina social media the yeng bakanda we have to go to the Nagas. As if you know, Kukinas Naure Nagada Tinava, Nagana Naure Kuki Tinava, but this is a bad politics. As a majority community, Meiteis have to think. Sai Ozana Haiba lit Torambado. A leader is not someone who plays this Chunga Chungaga Togo politics to Abhava politics, not there. You are the majority. You have the historical legacy. I am talking to the Meiteis. Then you have the responsibility to look at both disgruntled voices. Ngasi bhog the Meitei political leaders singna, Meitei intelligentsia mayamna, Naga singi claim si kari gidamak to no masida dialogue to this kari ginoba. Ay was a higi generation the angjaning eva. 1960s the UNLF tholakpa, adu mamang the pan milla iba, PLA thola iba, Pripak thola iba. See whole issue to the Manipur ki territorial integrity kai gini haibadagi ki badagi natro naharon tholakido. Naharon ki movement se 47 the 49 India the merged hogi but the Naharon ki movement thola ki deva. 60s the thogle because 60s the NNC gi acho move ama kano moi Nagaland gi acho ama sara ga the Manipur gi northern side me am loi phak aga pugi betare na madu gi aki bedagi nongmei pai gi bane mami tei gi adu gi matam gi naharol chin thawai thadok paki gi drine that was a spirit which wanted to retain the integrity of Manipur. But I am asking this question to the elder generation, Uzagi generation, the Nebaina, Saurga Hangis. Why? What have they done? And that includes my generation. I do 50s Lantara never. Huzik shudum tauriba, cookie tauragan and Nagada chomba, Naga tauragan cookie chomba. This is a really bad politics. We have to think it out of the box. Adu khanbangam da baduna neba Modi lakte na bhot thadaru na taurai base. Adu de Narendra Modi da khoi na yong we hella baneba. Akhoi na haudong tinabai ada haudong da khoi isa na isa we enjara baneba. Self determination ge su amna law bai khoi na Amit Shah ga Modi laktar ga di Manipur kai dore na kada we kapino. I am asking this question. Siki double standards kari no. So I think we have not done our job. And this is not only to the political leadership, political class, the intelligence, the civil society groups in Karadi Taurami, Ching the Chatana Toba group, I'm a Panjaro, Aina Kanja with the Laiba Taurameva. But somewhere down to the mighty chauvinism at the Laket, however, it's time we have to come out of that chauvinism.
Thank you, I think you have beautifully put in terms of the roadmap as well. Nagagi, in terms of how our polity has responded to the Naga question has been answered in one sense. There comes now, therefore, the cookie question. Meitei polity, or Manipuri polity, whatever may be the political correct sense term, but Southeast Asia gi migratory pattern the respond toro chakpagi political formation and in that how are we going to see the polity of Manipur in that sense in what is happening Manipur hujik thoi irang jamor dai tarisi migration patterns ne highway ai goza ki cookie the labor problems one major issue is also because of their migratory pattern please respond to this.
I know the book, Bhagat Nahai, you to Amuk et Tubjeko. Bhagat Nahari see, I mean,
provoked over.
Have we failed in leadership? Have the elites failed? Kanano fail with this? Hyper. I opening remarks in the Isagri say, might ourselves have failed? Aduni Baganasu, a chauvinism says that a failure behind the lies. Adudain et doctor say, are we made too insular? Insular minded. Belly Manux the lang herega. And the Queen lang herega, Delina Tozan Birkin Calibra. A queen is the lang the langaga. So san pugi cookies in okrulgi cookies in it put some letters in Lakaduribra. These are vital existential policy issues ni might take them any plural society mata chauvinism issues. Majority natraga power and pie but ethnic group amana. That community or that plural nation durida mahakna the question of equity. I coin a chahi listing ani or many hierarchy. British na chahi tere kuntakpaki matungda Manipur da political stability pidana. I koi si mi listing kunkatang ngairam badagi IMPHAL Valley sila mi listing ubumanga Brown gi matam da 1873 da population henglaim niko. Matam se to is kaino British ki dependent security is a peer herega. I could martial tradition gi madu values ka kado low in a kai herega. A is lethargic oidana lay bagi cultural flowering to bagi Hinduism gi structured society amada emerge to riba hana hierarchy and ranking lerum the baka do ning thogi manau na macha na whatever na nobility gas oiraktana mari mata gaisina you know tawraktana madugi on thok pa maitei gi on mamu haibatare that martial tradition amasung how to keep Manipur as Manipur do madu chahi kya no ba kauri basi chahi tere khunda ko gi matung dagi kaurok ko duna ai khoi dharma da karma da culture da ngau da legi so aina haizari na masi saudi siasa su thoi ko se chauvinism se ada aina haizari ngi di ai khoi gi political development se Manipur or Maitei gi the idea of Manipur si symbol of Maitei gi political development se akhoi gi internal insular political development tuka global political development sing do maduga akhoi gi an pa fang mismatch lei gre so how capitalism laktana industrialization laktana trading laktana mobility of people laktana on thok pa another technology gi world ma lei matam da ai khoi na British ki dependent security ma lei rai matam da ai khoi gi political formation di kamai to ge ana British sing na ching si ma khai do kre akhoi na to anam lawre matam trita education su 1985 ta 1885 ta this kanola even a metric batch 99 then so we as a people I khoi your own management of our state the idea of Manipur gi management to madu masai da British colonialism lakmo tam da di kam do re ano political systems bureaucratic systems la ibani ningtau ka darbar di wada su administrative systems si do ano pol lak pa sing sida we were never in the picture like here western education la literary people like Kamal Thore Angal Thore adiki kanu Thore irabot political leadership but in that 1940s again mamangda India ki political movement says the congress have to lak prane they didn't come so yen be political development say aduna modern bureaucratized system of political system of lakpa modern education lakpa trade and commerce do ningthona thingamini trade and commerce sidagi nang maitai nang na kasarom chat khitaradi lupa marfu nang thamgadabani nong thindarak pada nang halak pada lupa manga fai trade to matamda nang na mapana thabak tarwi lupa manga logani arang mapandi ki pochang pada na anna turkhak logni hai import export population control anak pa phangna insular mi ga lai jatawne ko ai kho hida loire ko by 19th century or 20th century chang put the globe se tongan ba nai je to that ai kho on emerge to reiba irapot ko thorak tana new generation thor ibe sikduna makhoi singduna I mean events went too fast before us adagi di mo ko independence phange adagi de ko statehood phange and matam says the vote ki democratic principles ka ta ko absorb to nang dringai da global changes India num the late change sina ai koi si adaptive social transformation of the koi changbung matam chumi chu legi de and by the time British colonial period se sida capital accumulation how the ko tika da thorak tan lambi thok sembagi truck yam chien dana paisa pai ba se truck to ba train commerce yaw da ba du tika to kambusi adagi di territorial those the kanoma leirure 72 dagi di angak pa phangna paisa ja haidara ko matam da ai khoi gi political development se kam do ge ai khoi yen view notice reason da political parties from the chatle hoje all over India political parties are chatli bani adagi di achogu political party ma sidharak padagi hoji palio political parties na ayam of the layer atofum from sikdana sidharai party duna vacuum the fill up to regional political parties hogalai hajari Manipur trama mut kare there is the chances of that regional party coming back is very dim so these political developments is that adu di kam dore karamba political elite akhina generate to rigya tikada base to ba thabak haba ka sab a corrupt society where akoi ki the very basis of our survival se government ki appointment ta aruga thika da survive to political class ma kun sim so Mizoram di yang view, Nagaland di yang view, even Arunachal di yang view, Congress, whatever BJP, as the yang view. I mean, party-based political development have said. Ideology is the base. There are lack. Matu development to Manipur to Udem. We are neither here nor there. There's a vacuum. What about the intelligentsia? What academics? Yang view 70s ek horok padani oza me am changre raga. Tamu Chandra me goi de ho raga state which is the oza me am MP that this politics the chang hera we even. Matam dilo those were the days. Akoi ki generation at tabak lakon imo nang lao tabak to lao atam. No, pesa sa people zanati. Now, Masayida, those same people, the elite, Makoi sing aduna, statehood fangaba, madam dadi, come do we. DM college, I have a GP Women's College, I have a Lerami. Government, attention, free thinking. That autonomous academic and intellectual atmosphere, at one go, all colleges are coming. Hujiksu, Likalaga, the intelligence is not functioning. Manipur University, when it was a state university, political class, same elite who became politicians. Other Makui generation to Hujik, I know what politicians Kambu Kritore, but they are based on state capital. Adu Makabum, not based on ideology, Adunia dilemmas. Aduna, I koi says the political development key, backwardness, stagnation. Aduga intelligentsia sibu, academic autonomy sibu. Furia kibase, masih da Manipur University bahuta, Central University obi Manipur University goza karadani, nasi TV da thui ba, ini bisa kanan yang biu. So these are political developments masih uribra nahasingna. On the other hand, similar government na the very basis of survival of the society, political development. Intellectual contribution to social transformation, the second phalanx insurgency. Insurgency is a parallel government. Dissent yadere. They became hand in hand with government in Tika government. We ourselves became part of the system. Aduna political elite, so-called political elite, Lairam Dabado, Garib Noazi Matamba, my Mamacham Swapam Bado, British Kipir emerged or Ekara. But high the same people, the Maduna, 70 state among the Ketan, Pazana Lairam Bado, tiny unpoliticians in the Adu state who Lagamatam the insurgency La Eraga, all civil society organizations, Nupi, Kangi, Nupai, Kangi, Yangbiu. Insurgency said that was a phase where a social transformation distort the same political class. But there is realization now. Northeastern India, why? Globe says the boundaries are now fixed, solid, rock solid. Bipolar world of the globalization of the boundaries are not so important. These are times for self-realization. Every people all over the world, especially in Southeast Asia and plural societies, identities, ethnicities, self-realization, self-examination, and self-location. Situations Naga they have taken a decision. Eastern Nagaland Mao the case from the junction Bayadre. We are now coming to our senses. Because history no dictate to Griba. Ethnic pluralism the idea of Manipur Sari. Creation myth, dress, customs, lahera, own must sazel libido. Amatagana Haibigi, walk alone as a state building process. We are one, I say. Aduna Maduki Potato jail Torgomatamda. And Hajarina Suddenly, cookie issues like this, we had forgotten the international dimension. Bangladesh kapthare no ja. We should not forget where do we locate ourselves. Nagas have learned where to locate themselves. Maitai, we have not learned where to locate ourselves. The cookies, they still have the dreams. We also have the dreams. Ako naro with dreams to natro. But surrender to issue self-realization and relocating ourselves in it. So na ina thamjaning badi. Political development say it did not take place. We were taken over throughout history. Intellectuals have been muted. India government, India itself is a nation in process. Manipur na duhen sa tapha huiwan ne. Aduna, aikoina in any multi-ethnic and plural society, nation first. Component states or ethnicity makoi ki interest ka India ki interest ka America ki interest ka Chinese Indians or Indians in American Indians ki interest ka kanana mang tag. Where do we locate ourselves? Sigi game says that where do we put ourselves? Ano kaya dili na marani mitsana to na amoy na says no lep ka dun ka hari say are we mature enough? Tell me. How do we come to the foot where the boots of the people who are wearing it? So let us be realistic. National interest, local interest, community, prioritize the what is the politics of gaining what you want? ST Pampatarago in the Tampatarago, Karmaito the Tange, Chay Lerega, Hekan Putatomi, Natra cookie no Koyagatomi. Look at a Sukan like head of my team, Singna. Husiki classes and nothing around the photo the cookie and carpet, the mutilator happy with the is that we might as well build this idea of Manipur? Is that the idea of Manipur? Tobigano. Manipur Tuganiba Tobigano will have our ST if we deserve it. But don't try to use it as a elite thing. Throughout history, elite roles double-edged. Movement, I'm saying the elite na. Yaw sa leherga, mana little rise to questionable that elite is suspect. I think it makes social transformation movement amada. Mati the vulture or herga, carcass to the mana, Saraga Masamadu pardon, what sort of elite is it? So in Nigeria say, Southeast Asia the notice India the elite role said Mizoram the tea, Nagaland the tea, Assam the tea, they have realized. Manipur to have elite roles and generational keep Harise. Dili the Tamu, Padro Tamgrosic, Sapayunigo, elite. Makoi, Masamasus in the Ichana Herga, Manipur. What sort of political ideology are you saying? Cookie Hallo, Aduto, Sorsa Puchano say Milsi Matungilo. Sorsa Putumba is that the idea of Manipur? Matuaina Quinopta to River. So let us retain our forefathers' values, though, whereby a peace to Bunatiko, inclusive say we must have common interests. We should respect their identity just as we expect them to respect our idea of Meiteihood or our idea of Manipur. Mutual oitraga, singler heraga, Bagana Habiribudo, there is some truth in it. We appeasement policy have on equal terms, but let us not return to that chauvinistic idea. Orientalism. I traditions and customs and my love for my nation. Maduna growth ki masagam oigidong self-destruction ki masagam oheloitobuni aduna. The problem before us is insular mindset. Ado ay koigi ipa ipu singa leiramde that plural and nation building mind new generations because of the nature of politics. Masi ako'y punang kalay ba siya, masi think by siya, academics and intelligentsia, intellectuals ako'y role ni. If we don't take that role, political class sina ko India gi larger interest na global interest na ai khoi bu thumat le herga ahum thok pai do soidrabani madu thing sai je ne. Thank you.
Thank you, Oja. Thank you.
Ama khatang line ama khatang oja gi sida et tok janing ba oja na ngarang gi episode ki matang du da yamna nungai ta picture me ama thadorak pa do masi akhoi maitai na di tawraga su masi maitai gi thos di na te se ai mayam da thamchege ai di China role haiba puya se I have been reading it both English translation adu goes a hem chandra gi si phajana I grazane China role sida nangi yengna badu hatlaba matungda bhawa magi mangakka poraga su ngakto madubu latlaga magi thawai du thawai miren du thagi bagi aja puja bhawa tawbagi chatnabi mitai da leirammeba aduga masa mangak tu pura aganda masa du su lebak ta chumda manungda leiron channa phumna thamam gadaba ga haibagi ekhoi da maitai gi tradition da that was part of our indigenous values. Unfortunately, karigino sigi barbarism se maitai na taurai se are we becoming the way present some of the cookies are doing? Migrant extremist militant cookie kharana tauri ba poto koi follow taura brava maitai gi ethos ni natabani goja jana ji happy du khatang et tok se to.
Right.
Thank you, Oja. Adu makhata jara poda because we don't have a lot of time. Matik am go that hapchun jage on the ongoing scene that is right now, that is election in one sense. Sigi akoi irang me amarak the election to be election sigi marakta. We can see that because Iran and I think this election is completely different from any other election in the sense that akoi ki psyche se akoi emotions it's completely heightened. Responsive yam oire boja heightened oire. In that sense, I think there has come to notice that some people or some interest group is riding on that emotion to use it as a vote bank. But is that leading us towards a totalitarian society where we are all in one sense a fascist? How would you respond to that?
See, I'll put it like this, very simple, straight answer. Hujiki Lok Sabha election se Sidagi A, B, C, Kaning Bakasanova. No, none of them are severed in the Christian terminology. Severed and the sip ki kano do direction ga pi da nagmoina whole change tor kadam ne haibagi akoi da karigo wakhal lama leram targadi you are mistaken. You will be sida aina thagat kriba mirep sina miracle lama tora ani ana khallagadi you are greatly mistaken. Indian Parliament see 545 members Parliament. Decisions are taken collectively. People coming from all across the country. Go. The Northeast ki representative kaya no kun mari mo oram gani wasi Oja Singh he na khang basing yaro ne exact number do ina haijadraga su. Aduna akhoi ji yamna restless oiba tawham khang da situation amada laire habadu madi akoi sidagi chain ba yararo. Kanagama politician kharana akhoi loi pharebani habadu they are just making you feel good, but you will not feel good. Warabadu di kam thing habadu di lairabane ba adubu sigi wabasina su oirambe ya ba khoi na magic ama pamis magician na to basu mayam amang sida kenon to raga chaglauna rabbit out of the cap to na tro khoi na I think we are thinking for a magician right now who will transform everything mitsi kaino olhan gado. It is not going to happen. Because sigi pot asidi maitai khatangi khutta maitai politician khatangi khutta laiba natte lairiba crisis sidi even government of India gi ngakta khutta laiba natriyaba larger international politics lairiyaba Myanmar gi tangdu laita daba crisis enormous armed rebellion groups yengbiune San province tagi asom na ki northeast ni ko Myanmar gi madudagi hauraga anti clockwise chatpiyoba makha bhagta koiruraga kachin karen chaluraga sidagi sagang chaluraga chin chalaga makhada kano bhagwa yengbiyo Rohingya na hana leramba jig jaga do I am very bad in memory. Entire sigi crisis si armed minority groups में आएंगे ethnic minority groups में आमना कनखन ला आगांजा Burmese government si back putla अब मतम ने that country is under crisis. And that country is our neighborhood. And that country with which we have open boundary. who can come and go. Now what are we talking? See, people see the fencing laitava, crisis laitava lamdu da, adugi irang du da kamaina mi la oido inova. Yes, I should Myanmar the Leramavadi, I should chelakane. If my life is threatened. And India is a better place. See the Lakpakan, see the Nangchara Heller. Not only you can open up shops, you can also get PDF ki free food. Illegal form the Nangi Aadhaar card. See, entire see crisis, which parts are our making. But see, crisis immediately solved to be agada natri hajari. See, matang chida koi na muksu Kanglup karana koi now haitare HOMEN about am doing a high madu somewhere under electoral politics is the haido creva. Narco terrorism gi whole triangular see drug ki traits is from the sip tower, it's a golden triangle sip tower avane. Masida koi government of Manipur gi pangal ga yam kan hai na laiba na teva koi na heta overnight ngamni number yam na waga da report ne. It's not going to be so easy. Government of India ba wari report ne. Aduna sida lairi report sida koi na as if overnight loina olani and a khalla ga dia koi praja singhi we will be more frustrated. If we are thinking in that line, it will be more frustrating. How things have to be handled. In what ways practically more than the electoral politics, the trick to level the civil society Kanglup Singi Tungan ethnic group the what is how Darkar O'Brien Kalev. Hanabang Acton answered Natrieva. No war ends up with war. Treaty Amadidum Varish Hanadabadiaro. Madu Aquina Karigumba Tangdu Letaba situation of Pami Hiragadi dialogue say if government is even unable to do it, Aquina initiate Tobudarkar Oev. And let me tell you, among the Nagas, among the Kukis, there are many with whom we can do. Aduna Sigi electoral politics the Aina Ujare Sigi emotive hype. I di saring is the Mai Piva, Dugi Poto. I see Yam tension later guns the Masito Ribusi, Pujalucho, Tamjalucho, Haradi, Aji charge up down never. This is not the time for charging up. We have to cool down and think. Sigi Manipur ki crisis just because Kuki Karana Lantarak Putuna, Churachanpur Kara, the Gimaite in Thorak Putuna, Hoi, Yam no Aitava Pone Machuda, Yam line a Lobuswiaroi. But Madu Katana Natieva. Larger migration laiba. Government of India na tawanga maudaba. Government of Manipur na tawanga maudaba. Situation in Myanmar is so precarious. Drug lord mayamgi international mafia mayamgi role. Masi mayamji koi na khambam thueva. Masi ki mafam dadi. I think government of Manipur is such a small player. It cannot transform itself. Land battlefield oira baneba Manipur se aduna election amanaga hetta loina ma awan bapora ani jidi I think we are thinking too much aduna we are thinking of a miracle upai elector kanda kaino ama mitrang ama tholaka raina khan badune madu khanbi gano frustrate oini election gi matungda.
Thank you Oja. Puja Priyoranjan last win Oja khoi gi current situation is Oja love of the soil ja khoi ingrained hoina khoi gi maitai da yaurpa love the soil ge khoi maitai nationalism hai gara Manipuri nationalism hai gara sibu capture tawraga vote the sinani khanba candidate auraga di how as a public are we going to respond to that?
I gi motati rajniti dang haijagre I don't trust hujik leiriba or hanadig hauraiba statehood ki matunga laiba rajniti sidi this is what is the problem with us. Ada politics is necessarily I political sciences politics is by definition is a dirty game. Politics you will see it all over the world. Then who is the problem? Problem is us. मधुकी कल्चर तो ब्रिथ तौरी कना तौरीनो अना तौहबने मसी हम नैनरेको आ भोटर त ज्ञान तागोना अमेरिका भोटर दी ज्ञान तादरबरा ट्रम्प इलेक्ट तौरी ज्ञान तादरबरा नो सो सिस्टमिक चेंजेस आई हजरी से अन हेक होगदा हाइजेकिबदो आवर प्रॉब्लम इज अखोई से हमने ट्रेडिशनल वैल्यूज दा मैते अखोइना लोइरे हां अखोई द रिच कल्चर आई डोंट नो आवर कल्चर इज दैट रिच लेहिरको सो अखोई द ओरिएंटलिज्म fatalistic oiba jejida leir akhoi na maro he leibo madu kari gina habeta akhoi gi throughout history jejida akhoi gi values sing sa belief system sing sa masina india ga men gi tillamatu na modern society mo ima tamda akhoi gi institution sing sa afaba institution sing sa masi akhoi na same de haiba khodamoina ai jai ba politics ke tangkai ma finance tawri thaba apsinatro अतो करीगिनो एमपीसी चला हेंद्रीबा करीगिनो सबऑर्डिनेट सर्विस कमीशन तौन एडहोक अदि टेम्पररी तौन तौरी बसे वी पीपल आवरसेल्फ अखोय मदु पामिने आवर एलिट्स लाइक इट अतुना अखोय की वैल्यू अखोय की इतत्र डेवलपमेंट वैल्यूज इन डेवलपमेंट हाइबिसे मसे मसे सिदा अखोय की ओन सेल्फ ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन सेल्फ लोकेशन मैते यखोयना आइडिया मणिपुर कुकी का कुमु याउरी बनी को मुदि चके चके हारी बनी तना we ourselves equity की question, justice की question, मधु की institutional structures म्याम मयोरों तक होना Asian की ओइना का India का में ना North Eastern region इन होई customary law respect तो उनका हाइरी दना these are Asian values, these are Asian institutions. India का उनके policy दसु minority से तो और वकाम कोई North Eastern Council से मी दना so मसे की institution म्याम से link कर ले हर नो यंता चाखुट पे ओइजो नखोई social transformation sida speed up talk sai bese how have we received them adra aikoi gi value transformation do achum aran law in gadavani si tawgadavani akoi tax thigadavani ha in a way st we bise sida tax thining de mu yauri dana ai ju thining de but so aikoi na distort to ba institutions sing te function to honda ba we are part of it Milton Hiram underdeveloped countries that in a corruption I say people themselves and microphone the law when the partner corruption to Hunganu bo ni tin khome mai masai la agma tumi na pisal ngene pisa but societies have outgrown that Asia da outgrow to greba ai koi ki weakness se orientalism ki weakness se kari no hai beta koi se consensus yamna bureaucratize ma niom ni ti indra adu tokdum na habina tab yana wai chat pai se ma khoi nat ne aduna capitalism na asia se southeast asia se lupsan basung ngamde maram de khoi own values da asian ka ji yeng biu ko eu dong european union do na bureaucratize secretariat am le natte manung dangang na ko na to india ris tawris tung discussion to yawa ise mai te gi nat ne ba cookie sing nat ne na sing nat ne ba ai khoi gi we are communitarian aduna ai khoi isana ai khoi gi value se matam gi matung ina but matu phatta do double edged knife hai so we have not developed values by virtue of our tradition the kan bhak na hari ba khoi akhoi gi tradition mai te hari ba to मधुद हेंजन मन की तरह साउदी एशिया दी ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन तो उगरे अब मोई की हानि की वैल्यूज दो ट्रेडिशनल वैल्यूज थमगनी का इस्लाम चलो सु थैदोकनी बुद्धिज्म चलो सु थैदोके नट आइदु दुम लेनी अखोई की सनामी लिबि सुमाइना सो मखोई ना मखोई की वैल्यूज थादोक तबा कैपिटलिज्म सु दुम लक्सन बा तौबकी दैट एशियन वे दो मैते यखोई ना करी की तमुक तमदु transform to ngamdri banova Nagaland the Mizoram by virtue of being Christians ideology dharma na pibato makoi society break up to ribani communitarian value tightly structured society have to the tribal societies na head level cookie the absolutely tightly structured ma hai yate have to even then makoi ki ideology Christianity is individualism tambi community importance tambi de makoi is class lakta ni makoi markers division like this but Nagaland hariba attention ki somehow moise adapt tawre haraga moise individualism the chat kare haraga moi ki village manung de ko ai village wang ta abata chang yaroi Manipur de kuki ki village oyu naga ki village oyu atopa village mi ka chang ya pote chuge yaroi ai ki chan pi thado ga ni mo na loksam bani villages are still republics sineba ado mi ki di Manipur na tabata atai tribal states ki di makoi adaptive change makoi ki value systems da maduna globalization lomda India ki kano India na tori pot sista koi adjust torega how to take the best out of the nation called India madu ki manung du chatana ai na independent thab kamai to ya no let us not dream of leidna ko nation first hai besa masi howsoever Maitei Kangde Saudi Asian the nation for the authority ka de tugas tan by for escape from state hairi bani tana Chingdele bise Vietnam de sele Thailand de sele Indonesia de Philippines sele Chingdele these are people who are escaping the state independent babu kambuni Manipur is India sele those days are gone aduna ine haijariba if we want a solution to what we have here ngasi le crisis aingon de Manipur gi social transformation Atei India ki tribal states in the loin lakre Manipur ti hujik third from the bottom lady tana ko income da ai koi di lakre sigi social transformation che puraksha hai taragidi akoi ge strength so koi yes we'll stand by them but let not that strength of being a maitai do maduna koi gi social transformation da impediment am ko hen gum se kamai to no hen gadage hai do madu it is the role of the intelligentsia and academics and the elite. Aduna ko ST phango phang the functional if rule allows but maduna hek to hujiki matang ji inchen de ya de inchen bato aduna kuki de hujik matang ji de sida the kuki de hek tang ko phang no di hek ta hala tung de hai bato you are only destroying ourselves let us kitang cool down toraga phit se kitang phadesi election ki chekar laigini but I tell you from next election things are going to change. Things are going to change because Kuki Signa they have given us a fright of koi ki punchi da amok kana thengna ki driba amok phok thengna ki driba fright akiba isabu thasar ta bai beto madu handa feel ta web but masida chahi tare khutak pudai di hen baga natte ko madu ki 00 point pabo oi we have gone through histories like this. The nation called India, it's a plural society. Political parties have come and gone, but every political party, Congress tiki hona, Socialist Kabu, Marxist Singh, who's in the rightist of BJP, all of them, political parties say, none of them are anti-Indian. Can we afford not to realize this reality that a politics of party based ideology da Tajabu, BJP Oigera, Congress Oigera, Nangon, regional party based Oibu. America quite a chocolate democratic labor Nang Republic or no Maratura Nanga Pamba Mido Pagepo, do Kalinaba. But the party is an way to them. In the other two level, I don't know presidential form of Tokyo. So I get I'm sure political class na makoi bu prajana makoi da tawpham thokpa byabhar to pdc moi khangam moi drane they know it moi the swimmer gi sing to swim the we one the best swimmers aduna makoi bu to bai sa I tell you Manipur elite sing akoi da regeneration gi institution building gi akoi da thok se MPS da tolu thabak se logu yaroi na koi na all over the world tika ke no advertise to have electronic tone kai do ata phajana to view kai si adu ki movement sakatri be kari no haba have we had any movement in Manipur which is government transforming institution building economy building ngasi ba the economy thabak phang da bi karamba intellectual singegi movement la ba ke satri gi sangstan gi la abra karamba section de gi la pe ke we have been too much occupied with the political dreams of any community. Ning taming bagi madugi aikoi innet oina Southeast Asian singda leiribodo madugi dreams da leiringa da hojikti ko madu leiringa da we have forgotten about the economies or about social transformation. Aduna aina haupute haijaribodo. It's time for us self-realization and self-relocation. I committee kuna tawragati idea of Manipur hai to koi rebuild to se hairi bato matu kharwana thokane nai thamjage. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Oja. Makhatara, we will have some question and answers from the audience, and light on to we. So we'll take the questions from the audience, and whoever wants to ask some questions, can we have a raise of hands, and then we'll proceed forward to the question. And please address the question to a particular speaker so that the speaker can answer the question accordingly. Audience, ma mark to question hang bigadaw lagadi ko tangat piraga speaker da address to biraga question to bina maning chingjari. Please, mamang da pambiriba.
Hello, check. I am Colonel Shanti Kumar Sapam, retired. I see Assam Regiment Tagini, I gi Jawan Singsina, Akogi entire notice Tagi. 1942 1942, 15th of June da, Akogi Assam Regiment say British na raised away. Masi raised away matam da, Akogi entire notice Tagi, all communities Tagi, Jawan Sing, one a kanki. Adubu di khangi dev. Sigil legacy si akoina dum follow tawrak lakhiba matamda akoina India da merge tawra matung da su sigi kaino si accession da British na accession da thamam banina as it is haibani British na thamam madugi as it is haibani adu thamam matamda maitai si adum Assam regiment da yawgidre yawgida badagi akoi si infantry haibado adudi obi yagidreba akoi si category si akoi ki category si Bengali ki category UP ki Rajput ki category aduga Rajasthan ki Rajput ki category da lai reba akoi se lai hibdagi akoi na changba yar me se infantry habadi Indian army se maximum strength fighters in the infantry haibasini nongoi paibase ado akoi na changba yar si di Rajput haibasima changba yar me Bengali na changba yabasima aduga guards haibasina magi height se 10 feet, correction, 5 feet 10 inches. Aduna, Magi selection hit over Matamda, skills hit Tamato, skills hit Tamaga Makada, little Matam, the Masadum, true and it's a crab of imitation. Aduna, only very few joined the fighter group, basically, fighting group Habenicom. Aduga, general category, the Lakpa, Amar Ko Gumba, AC Gumba, Supply Gumba, Ordnance Gumba, the Kanba. But competition si yam na chawl lai greba aduna aina hojin lakcha gadori basi 1998 tagi akhoina yam na hona badagi maitai si included tawre adubu si include taw matam da percentage yam na pieba samne jimen su hojik si yam na pieba whereas Nagaland gidi Nagagi battalion adu matam du da ani lai greba hojik ahum sure battalion hai se ko ahum sure aduga atopa mana HOMEN herd ana amasum achoba more than 1000 strength adugum battalion amasu moi raise to khre moi gi lei ba dumana aduna aina haijaning ai se akhoi gi asai oja ani na haibi ba elite class ai se sisina ai gi mota thisan basi yang wat khren khanjai ba akhoi maiti gi damakta today I have become a very narrow minded person though being army officer narrow minded person over there because aina narrow minded or isi kai gino haibabu I was fortunate that I commanded a battalion of NCC which is the biggest in India. That is Manipur 14 Manipur NCC battalion sidala IMPHAL la ise si command to matamda ngasai gi akhoi gi nupa macha nupi macha mayam se masi hauji thop phangdana leiri ba thop phangde ba hauji ngarang han da su akhoi gi SSC aduda tholpa result do yeng biyo ba maiti macha ani khatani yauri do aduda aduga atayna yam khreba aduna akhoi mapa ama oina mapa ama oina akhoi gi angang sing se akhoi gi angang sing isa sing si akhoi na compete ta gudaba category se 100 crore ne India da 100 crore adu si 100 crore da thamam sira thamam gum sira. Is it the right time or not the right time? Why we should wait for the right time? Aina 1947, 1951 da ai nga thong cha hau treba. Ai army da lejare you thak chate.
Oza yaraga di question do if you know.
I said like ka do ne question si ki wari se khang da di question do hang ma ya da aduna ni ai ha jari se adun ni ko. Ai se ti total ni ai you thak te. Adubu thalak ta ba se su chang na you thalak ta ba se. I ngasi you thake hai matam da ya te na thing do rapa.
Ujai je ST oi bana phadong male na tar to male.
Is it my right or not? Sini ai hajar se.
Oza do kana other question to bini hai do so that we can take further question from other.
I talk jar ke ba. Ai na hajar se. Ai na hajar sang ta thabi ho ko. Si wari sta ta di question to hang ba ya dre ba. Because mar ta ki thak ta hang ba ya put na te ba do na hajar se ko. Aduna kari gumba ngasi ai gi isa sing. A the way Kong the Lady, Jassing, go. Yam Laba, Top Pang the Ba. May 15 May 3rd, La Pamatam do that. Pura Mang Kale. A Hoja Cator me, Tabacator me, Mang Kale. Aina TV da Hama Tupumatam, I Capitu, you know. I'm an army of ceremony. I pension there, Adam Chong Pange. I can survive myself. There's no problem. But I cry for my people, my boys and girls. Adune Boko. I have question say I want to very important. I think very important. When I say this is for my community. I know see the toy Iran say see the Bhagat na high it's a national problem. See a problem. Open borders is a problem. Basically, it will be we can do nothing about it. Free moment I have say see when the Canada Hineba. How jikti I know PRIYORANJAN why we should wait for the time when I have the right. Masaki 5 criteria se labor matam sida. Akhoi ki maite ki population se India da na 0.01 neba. India da. Ado 0.01 sida akhoi na SC se phangba matam da it's a peanut habani habadi.
If Oza PRIYORANJAN you would allow him to
why we should wait habani? I will convince the Nagas. I will go. See, Oza, why we should wait? Why we should fight? No, I will convince them.
Thank you, Oza.
Thank you, Oza. I say, see, Matanga emotional. Please don't mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Oza, please, if you will kindly answer the question.
You and I are not the ones. Santi Kumar na, Oza PRIYORANJAN na, criteria mga do. Fulfill the way say you are not the one, I am not the one. Right? Am I right? Right. So, Aduni, you are not the one to decide, nor am I. This is one. You or your organization are not the one, or my or anybody's organization. Madu criteria to lep organization lep except this. Senior committee, Lamang Navaido. Kadai the Chatoino Kamaito to come to the act political pressure to me I would do. That is morally wrong. Sima. Adigana, Kaidona Ngai do no habito. Kaidona Ngai do no habito. It is not timely. It is not timely. Adukatanida. Aduka, why? Was the election telling us why you should pressurize now? Tamaning I move to Resina. Manipur government engage the best anthropological professor or institution Tauro, economist the best Tauro, Matubi report of Toro, Matu the yes, no hybrid, the Yenchin Ioba. Not that the heck, don't do it. That is morally wrong. See, my days are already piped, said, put Pito of Nesu. Am I the authority or are you the authority? Sinida, Aduna Koina, I know I said, I did to sorry. Santicoman Harido Chumumle. My day elite noina Kedule Gahabito. You are also one of them, right? Each of us must deliver Yamana elite not the name. A quite a tango to Kongtando. Emotion that talks Santicoan have emotional way Hajeribato. Moduni Nagako quick emotional way the Mojecta. Tanbadi, it is my right. But matu noi hai do yaning devis, it is their right. Ko aduna it's not time. Hujik togum si let us asuk yam na lebak si kai dini matam oirpa sei sida nang horoi matagum heka thangjandra togase mase masti ki fatalistic oi vai beto aduni logjai. I think everybody, anybody in India, any community has a right to demand that taken. We are not the ones deciding.
I think it of the Goza. Sigate, Sigi debate, Nataba, Uzanam, Sir Hivir, what's it? But see, I think you should take this up. ST Commission report, my am to demand to Natava. Army officers are going to the Lieutenant General Ani Lady. And one of them is sitting here and president of this organization. And then Amit Shahju Lagturi Bozik. I don't know, some of the BJP people are also sitting here. Why don't we ask for a Manipur regiment? BSF ki Masi Hogseva, Nangi Arambai Tegul Mam, we Jangjag Rasanova. Let them take care of the boundary. Job frustration ki ST with us. I'm sorry.
Wherever there is an injustice, India government job recruitment anything development program any injustice we must take up the right actions, political action to have it corrected. We will get it. I'll give you an example. All India ki oina urban area ki urban slums in the light of my yum just habine na tore. Notice the yore. I happen to be an expert member in this Mahutki committee. Kamai to the city. Slum area the labor light missing yums abine. That is an all India policy. No, it is our right. Let us find out how to get it. I think it come door. Fortunately, JNURM, Jawaharlal Nehru Urban Renewal Mission, I told I coin advice to Raga. Hey, Manipur ki lady but town Masama Sam said, Loinam surveto, census surveto, Aduga, a koi plan toxina, Amaka Tokyo. Nasagi, IMPHAL, a genuine arrangement to the Ainam to Toxia with the consultative. Professor, what is the need of inventing the will? Surveto city yata. And Dr. River town planning, but plan say master plan in IMPHAL city, every house is surveyed. And Wisikimatang to Aina, no? Remember 25. Akoi survey tawte local law Manipur da slum laite slum da le nangi lam lai roi lam lai rak laite ki sabi to ine Manipur da di lam laite roi namak lam lai show it ullo India government hai raheraga mahot ke kambu azom the argument to raheraga the policy made was made whereby Manipur gives like I couldn't lie yum pri the sari. This is the way to grow to go. Injustice to we are democratically Atuna, how political movement Karmina Sagat Kadeke Koina, hide the sad. Masi, political movements yakwe, on top non material side, the question, Queen Sagat Layreva. These are times where material political movements, Saga hide be injustice, Meamdo, Doctor Toxi. But a larger thing is a quickie political development key. Rejuvenation se kamai toxia habedo. Where are you elites? Haidana Santikowan Haibiribedo. The younger generations, all of you, take it into your mind, into your hearts, that the social transformation in Manipur can go faster. Thank you.
Thank you, Oja. I think perhaps ST is Ojana point out the way, but that due process necessarily has to be followed, and here lies the conflict between tradition and modernity. Informant.
Professor Bhagat na hibi ki Professor Bhagat na hibi ki ba Manipur regiment race to bugido. Adu ki point day mutang. Hello, tor ba yar bra. Manipur regiment की point में race तो बुगी तो आई सीधा हच्चर गया बा करी की नोएडा Manipur regiment race तो उसे हायर दी Kerala regiment race तो उसे हायर कने Andhra regiment raised to Bengal regiment raised to Aduna Masisi Armina Yamna Karani Yamna consider opinion Amatauraga Naga regiments in the last regiment Ohen Kiev. Care. Adu Matan Hoke the Wiagedo. Regiment raised to Buyadus, Ate force lay army. Example in a higher the scouts. Arunachal scouts has in known raised over. Sikkim scouts raised over. Adu Matundam TA heavenly. As I give a TA home and heart. Not was a regular TA. Regular TA Harisi, example in a higher the Ojing Manipur the graph, ma'am, make Hungbidana. Graph Tikana guard of gave the Garwal TA and a laga guard of Aduna TA rest of the question is Mashi Tauge Haradi Akoi political leader ga military experts singa bureaucrats singa hand in glove chamne na batabane unfortunately madu taute ba koi gi state tadi akoi gi state tadi ai chahi ani gi mamang da ani makhai hai rasika Manipur TA ama almost final stage da finance na okay pira bane concept wise ai hai jagah Manipur TA do koi na raise to matam da masai hai hiba aram bai tingol 50% ex insurgent natraga ex surrendery aduga 50% na admaina but this proportion can be changed idea person should be masigi concept ya koina lauthoi si 1973-75 ta Naga army na Shillong Accord surrender to bukanda BSF ki battalion ani raise to wi battalion tu ki maming number 111 and 112 ko madu yenga koina taujabani to be very frank everything was ready adubu Eastern Command na objection number raised to madudu akhoi gi bureaucrats as well as political people if they wanted perhaps they could have pushed through karigino da angon the lastly question ama hangai yamna important question ama hoji ki battalion je leidori is about 600 odd body na ba masi kanana recruit to godage obviously TA gi recruit si state na to we are there the recruitment will be done by the army recruiting agency so once I said this all the interests evaporated there was no more follow-up action there was no it went to the cold storage and ultimately the Eastern Command's opinion carried through and the file is still lying with the TA Directorate. Aduna Kanaguma Manamasi revive to winning the first if we raise one TA battalion, we prove our battle worthiness. Second TA, third TA, fourth TA, there is no end to it. In fact, I suggest either IMPHAL या मिरांग तो ऐरगा maybe Mikir Hills or anywhere the 2 years raging इसके बाद deployment can be all India. TA also has all India deployment. So there is the thing. So I just wanted to let the public know that regiment very difficult.
Thank you.
TA and the scouts definitely.
Thank you, General. Thank you, General. Thank you for that. Do we have any more questions from the crowd? Probably 2 questions we'll take and then we'll probably end the session here. Please introduce yourself while asking the question and then address it to us.
I question is Oza PRIYORANJAN. Dailam Kogi Igi question Sina Satung Pitung Tung Dabdagi Kuki separatism je lak pane haiba adu Igi lakcharugitina equality the yengaga Satung Pitung Pidira Natraga equity the piraga Satung Pitung je pigatira For example, ngasai achauba samuda thungadaba lafoi kilo kundo apikpa kaksingda kilo kundo pijagadra adumai tawgana equality da yengaga chakthung phitungje kamaina tawgaduna do ai ojadagi ngasai ojagi question amada equity ki wahang ama yawbada ngasai cookie gi ngasi gi national movement sisu khogi separatism je chakthung phitung phangdabadagi sumba separatism gi movement ama lakpna se equality gi da yengadra equity da yengadra oja sigi question se.
Please respond, Oja.
Hello, Taiko. Of course, equity and justice, I mean. Equality, that is two. Equity and justice. Cookie is the dimension of my man, I in the set. Cookie in the government in my opta, right? They were used as pawns to meet India government ki security ki problems in the I will not go into the legitimacy of that. I'm not going to the legitimacy of that. Aduna, nation building a process in high but politics is a very dirty game. Aduga, national security and sovereignty is paramount. Aduna, cookie gisidi yes, I have justice I mean and justice I will latar with the equality I will to plus 2 is called to 4 I don't know. Equity. Hen pangbam pedna, la amatanate, Samu Midanate, Samu Mangagi Matakale, isn't it? Equity I do none sota already northeastern reason that the Ying go. I could say we have become beggars. Whereas India government is already giving more than our per capita investment or budgetary allocation. Already Tauri Banehaba. Every nation, India government talk equity developed out of the area that Taunaba Honaba, Sumbro. IMPHAL and Chakali, Belly and Chakali, Chingi Chakotay, Okurle and Chakali Tamilo and Chakali no village Chakotay. So these are not questions at all. Okay. Aduna, a quick problem, it's not a problem of funds. There's no problem of funds. Vision 2020 promise story. There will be no limits to funds. Capacity building, Tony, infrastructure, same, Towing I not draw. Chakot loan I know in a sana, no yacho. Hi, a queen, a yacha the bagi one. Okay. At mind concerning equity and justice is the basic fundamental philosophy and ideological guideline behind any country's constitution, any country's sense of being.
Last question. We'll take one last question and then we'll probably end the session.
Hello.
Masai Oja Bagana Habigi with the 1960 Matam Adawai Manipur the kind of idea of Manipur gi Satam Krakaitara Mami Udagi Kutakulai Paraga Matamdugi Yolo is now in the Lanthemnagi Habum the Zavana I make an Habigiba. Matamdu the 1964 of home to give a Yole ki executive members in Marakta Nagam Cookie members in Yawadum Uyuba. Matamjida idea of Manipur Kaitara Quiki Monge, Karamong, the Kaitabano, Adoga Kaitabi Madam Jakarigi Oigani Habama Zada Hunting Adoga Amana idea of Manipur Laki Baze Manipur Indagi, Pivanung, the Sangiva Matamdagi, Oigadra, Natraga, Mase Karambam Matamdigi, Oigani Habu Zada Kangin.
Briefly, I know. Minor Chummi UNLF the Atopa Naga Singi President or Chairman or Dusini Adubu Sinatak Padi Maiti Sin lit over organizations in Se Machida composite representation Kanglo Kuding Maki Mui Sindo Masiki Lalho Edi Aquina Lalho Roidu Hujigna Matamadu the Penoni insurgents ni illegal ni haidana akoina tanai ko amung matam gi matung ina amung kano piraga amnesty mung pi basu yai ko aduna so let us be little openly speaking about it Kamlup Singh the minority communities ki representation adum yawda banati aduna takpadi Maitai leaders Singh ki wakal lon sida idea of Manipur sida maitai khatang haiba simdi lairamdi maitai na lead to wi leadership howa nangi naga aman oyeba UNLP Manipur semba su 1972 semba kada leaders is jo pangal aman oyeba who is represented only perhaps 7% of the population si maitai ki psyche never I think accommodative oiba adjust over ngambagi aduna aikoina karaidano amadi problem amadi laire kanglup khara ama kairaga akoiga poningdabagi Manipur ki part ama oiningdabagi maitai singna namdharaga thammena khanba kanglup amadi tholtaba nate ba madumagna NNC da changribani suicide is an example kona sushana loishalamdai dadi magi chum kayam chumbano chumdabano diary ama das maina iram me haiba boktai kangla rom da ai gi mai si thammaga ai gi kano si coffin je thambiyo haiba gi wari pawle aduna naga sing na pen gidri to tangkhul sing na pen gidri do karai te pendri no na koi na engage to amadi changki madu enough oi diaba maite na enough engage to gidabra haiba sine ai gi submission karai do no ma koi gi some hegemony am su laibra I may be wrong. I lalmagdi hena phabasu oichino. But the story tells that we had been hegemonic somewhere. Akoi emblem the khangde, cultural narrative the khangde. Yamna maitai centric oiba man bakara yawbaneba. See akoi maitai oiragadi khangweba. Aishu maitai ni. But when you look from a distance, you might see that our representing entirety of it is more of a maitai centric. Masida ki sura hai basa ai thamjani ba I want ama khatang yam ai jawari hong changdo yam tien ba kisu leite ba mayam nadi phagi oina heram be ai ahan namana I want da pan mil gi ahan namana I want da li gi ba yam trivial di oiba man ba cc mitsi hujik tawri bra khangde cc mitsi 70s gi wari oira male ba seng on da li ba kanda atham na har tamutarun gi wari man hai ba kanda trauga tangkhul gi apha tim mama du gi chahi do exactly kawre final sanai hai simya mamang de hai du inko aduga ahan du gi wari du su chummen thajar kanda and they played very well referees maitai never somehow or other trauna ka gi hai adu tangkhul sing ji corner ga kappe hai now look at this Manipur ki ching amagi district amadagi football team ama IMPHAL mang the CC mid yawala ine but we didn't want that team to win aina hange tamu si taseng na bias oirim ni ne haire akoi na lahudrati yatin to matam khara leiraga tangkhul macha mayam ama NNC yawgi hai chi emotion ne moina khanjari phangam thopune haibado du phangan gi phangdanan karai do no soiraga koina namdharaga moisi out ohan gibedo madugi penda buduna naha sindu NNC yawgi hai now you might say what is there but it is all that matters hujik su adu natro hujik su politics da mai haura ga tawriba mayam ji mai da sanari basi adu nakta natra kuki haira kan act kuki bu chaiba ngama politician to di quite the effective politician oirebo quite the Cookie punna lemina bagdabani dialogue togadani haiwa aigumba sidi WhatsApp taga irei sidi nangdi Hindu ga khidam palluraga nangdi Shantidas Gosai gi masu amadhara am lai hairim nei honda this is the irony aduna aikoi ki mindset se retrospect to ba changeba aikoi na isa gi maramda aikoi gi weakness to yengba ngamdragadi kana na kamaini akoi improve tawdori no Madu kapang adu minus samjagi. Asagi mafam do. Thank you. I have provoked you. Thank you.
I think our conversation has turned so much more interesting that we have to extend. Please continue, General Saab.
I maning dagi amtaka tawjage.
Turn lak jagane koi general na kainom tang haijage adu gi mathang turn lak jage please.
Noi namadi hauno fagre na lamfelda nausek enamaleba nausek si phaba chatleba aidin seni school to mayadona ai nausek karma phado no khangde na post now section kaka label aina faraganda nang now section chayaroi and the kaigino nang how now section have reality never say akwai che kam hagi angang si masak khara fajar di masi how much I maitai malida ar mo lagana mai tim jai how himala dana so that is the reality ajiki hegemonistic haibibido madu akwai gi social le we cannot deny that adu haijage na to jige to
Thank you, General.
Just a moment.
Thank you, General. Maning the side ki ngai duna like review akhoi oza do
Question number
Hello.
Satya Kumar,
miniam khatang hachage ko si yam important oi bane khanje ba
question number si loidriye ibung aman hangana no please
after that please maning
sagi
side
ibung haigi beto idea of Manipur se ngarang nahan da UNL fikom te mut tawra hai beto no mai horun dagi homna lai harau bada akoina cultural tangkhul gi phige seli dana Nagaland haiba Mizoram haiba same dringai da Naga gi creation myth ta Kuki gi creation myth ta ichini na da yauri dana so idea of Manipur ai se Nagaland de pok dringai ta koi gi pai pun aurum bani Naga sin bu tawi Kuki sin su tawi mu thajam
thank you last kita oza
I Gojent I Manipur College da oza oi jabani oza ni makki wa chi tajabada right we need transformation I call it transform towards politically socially self transformation I call na yam toina taram wahi amaju ta khidre self determination I gi question di handaki mamangi say 23rd sida political event ani I na mit thing nei abanda aziki lai ba third me gi wari se atopa amanda Manipur gi itias ta yam choba all this insurgency group oiramba ULF ki section namana chong thole herga madu su tawra tawdabra ai du khangdre su kobra kari no hablo thola aga aikoi gi anova political agenda si sangop even ani si Kaya yam correlated ogi have to do I khangde oja khoi explain to you sida hangjani yo wang se masi transformation oiba political asigi akhoi gi ULF ki sizable keno mana thola ga India ki political system sida yausala ibasi political transformation ko godori bra and is it the right way right way hai na khoi na phil to hon gadori bra khoi ta decade khare Manipur ki political itias ta chaw role loramba self determination to gadabani hai na Manipur ki na mayam da ano political ethos sama piramba adugumba political agenda mana sman to khiba sista khoi accept to bra madu transformation ano political transformation ne hai na lor gadi Sumi hana lorgadi madu kramani justify to godage
thank you ado question anakanam gu hangit khanba male question ani pulap lawjur yeah we'll end the question round with that so can you kindly introduce yourself and ask the question and we'll end the question and answer round here.
Good evening everyone. My question or my comment, the entire session was mostly about criticism, especially on a particular community called Maitai, myself belonging to the community, and most of it, according to me, is valid. But then my question, given the current scenario or the present situation, my question or my concern is that what role does the academia or the intelligentsia or the academics have to play in this, in the road to recovery from this particular situation? So what is the road to recovery from this situation, and is there a way of promoting critical thinking so that we can arrive at a point or an idea of Manipur which is acceptable for all the communities, since our so-called the state of Manipur is not a homogeneous society or a homogeneous state. So what is the way forward or way to recovery from this, sir?
Thank you. So perhaps that question Oja can answer and the political transformation Oja can answer.
quickly to both Ibemana Hangpaduda Aigi Oinadi intelligentsia gi role habasi yamna chawna sulai yam limited su oi. Ado limited in the sense that intelligentsia singsana hekta awon porakadabanena akoina initiate tobududi ngamoi that only politicians, administration, sigi whole executive legislation gi potuni lakturi democratic setup tadi. Tawbudabu legislate torakturiba law mayam execute tawduriba mayam do maduda safu piba wakhalon amana aduda sep tawrakpa hanba dudi akhwegi intelligentsia singi mathawne na lawjai. Aduga idea of Manipur si kaidana hojik laihange hairagadi ngasigi lairiba situation sida aidi ngasigi si 3rd May katang ujade bema aidi 2001 dagi oina uyeba ina am immediately changmakanda because I was also involved in that aina involved tawbagi changsi haibam khangdana nungairaroi masida angak bapang ai lairik takane ba kaw khai JNU da lairinga da masida da nungdang tum dagi chi andana journal ba form dana tawrame save tawgadabane na highway. I don't know how far we have succeeded, but let's at least I wonder how the Manipur Nungsibadumadi Hengal Prana Kale, at least it has changed me. 2001, the Yakoi Hozik Horp about the Han, but the Queen Tobase, Nasiki Taurisima. I was in 2004 Wariniko. I was an associate professor at that time. Nagasin Chidam sounding never. And our writings were targeting the Nagas. Han Namakagna to the high no writing see. Even on Naga target Taurene. See the Equigi Wakalon Natir. And that shaped us. We have to rethink. Karigi no the Masai Manaba, Nehuda, Ujama, Srikantana political science ki mana, Magi writings the Ampajabama High Naga nationalism, Maite nationalism, Ani Masinadum, Loshalanindum Kambiro. Naga nationalism is built on ethnicity. Exclusive ethnicity. Naga, 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 Naga. Whoever is Naga will be part of it. Whoever is not a Naga is excluded. And immediately with this exclusivist identity, Siga tuna musat minaluishna karinoda Naga katang na tabalam. Naga natabana tage hairagadi mogi permission yawgadawa. Natragadi, they have to be out. So exclusivist identity amaga tuna land siga tuna satminaya. Masi Naga nationalism ki characteristics never. Whereas Maite nationalism jimana haibada, it is a civic nationalism. Whereas that means see the identity the based out of Nangi community punna lamina taragadi kamaina tuna lamina gani haibagi maduda shape the norms, rules, regulation, maduda mayam yanaraga satmin nana bohonava. Masi Maite the layava. Aduna ni Maite singna Paite Beng, the Sidakari, Chief Minister ki Mamang the Ladiva, Dulalen, New Dulalen, Sidakarim the High Dravani. Only 3rd making Matungita Kuji, Nilak Payvaneva. Otherwise, we were so cool about it. Kitri Gau, the Lilong, the Taura Mayam, so we felt that we were taken for a ride. A weak winner, low grain. I was under the frightened Haigo. Adubu Siki composition. I think, in spite of all the crisis, Maitais must not lose our essential value of collective, composite culture ki kano se values hai. Akoi Maitai mangoi da baneba. Husik se kitang mang badong na am chauna laeba. Masi aigi kitang akiba malay. Adu badwain thamjake. Uzag gojin sida wazana di lowi rani ko aina. Ama kitang thamjaning wana self-determination ki wari se aina uza naurim sana jawboga aina yaning da bakara sum uzaga tana kiba line ama ani kitang haijage. Self-determination, the concept emerged at certain point in time, 20th century ki colonized oiba country mayam sibu tungana moigi self-determination to build up a territory which you call a sovereign nation. Africa, the Latin America, the Asia, the sigi lakhi baneba. Madu ki iroina na Manipur su ning tamgadabani Naga sing which moigi ning tamgadabani haibagi since the self-determination concept se float tawkiyo. But no, I'm now challenging that idea. No idea is sacrosanct for all time. idea khuding mak se history the root to ga chat kan ba idea mem se reshape to jana sa hai ba si on grabra na on within self determination ki basic se keno right to my own freedom of choice of thinking and deciding ai ki mot di 2001 dagi na ngasi bhaw da ina uri sa du mangsu leram mine du aina active oi jarak pa one thing I have realized and maybe I am wrong please correct me that is Manipur kalan ge hai akan ma Manipur ma lehen ge hai taragadi only within India oi bang amne nai lo ba India da ki tungan tagar kan da Manipur kan ba ama ubang amoy ba akhoi gi geopolitics yeng bio geography yeng bio population yeng bio kamaina leiri ge hujik se akhoi se akhoi na khanjari ba Manipur simakta da sring toksal aga kahan bang amalakri ba it's a realization that we have to see so self determination hai must be one accommodative over character but we have to be strong but our self determination is not away from India but within and we have to work out hujik angak pa phang na transformation lai sidi industry the lai hujik even you may say small industry but aina khangja bada doctor sing aina unaba kan se da even medical industry hai gadra medical tourism ko bigadra angak pa phang na expand to nagi honaramina more rom da baba langna na ba Myanmar da ki patient la aga sida chang pai ji Nagaland da chatri bani Mizoram da chatri bani Manipur da changai bane we have the capacity we have to build and that human resources capability to build up to hogi matam ne ba nongai pair ga launch hona actor hoi hujik sina atopa situation na bani but I am talking of the larger issue of self determination this is my limited way I may be wrong I am open to correction discussion Uzar
hello sa IPM ma maning ding hangak pa do is a very important thing who is an intellectual aduga magi place in society si karino hai do Europe adagi Britain France moisi de kam to ge habita academics are they are producers of knowledge ni aduna public discourse ka yawba khabar da iba ka samai da sang ma academic hoitre intellectual oi de hai bilai but you go to Japan you go to Southeast Asia asitana mo practicing academicians haiba ma intellectuals haiba ma adigi then knowledge producing haiba anisi cannabis all over the world the maduni chatli base so aikoi gi academic sing or intellectual har kata bu kane masi doctor goi saubi ro ko I got this common parlance the intellectual sing say mostly in general university system dagi madusu humanities or social sciences the now and ajeni the world needs academics especially intellectuals in governance aduna India gi su haneti gi hongna taru hujik henna chahi manga tras yam kan hena toksale you will find now ai koina university ya 81 da changba matamda ko academics singa kaji involved to hujikti in every government ki any policy making body da committee sema matamda the academics are now included sini so and if you want academics and intellectuals to be involved in social transformation, give autonomy to the academics, give freedom, do not enslave them. Societies will grow right. Now, self-determination or revolution or secession, these are all the nation do nuksijabdagi aigi self ki better way out ne haibidagi tawrupa ngatane but they all have their time they all have their lives ko loinamak social transformation matamda at every historical point of time moigi matam man lai heba moigi matam lai they have served the cause of development of whomever they are fighting for adugitum tawgrabani but dialogue tawba aduga halak pa haibase re-examine ourselves to why say that is itself a way to transformation social transformation I say mukna dana lairaga forever fight to buduna that is not social transformation aduna that yes hujiki to surrender to say it is a step towards a self-transformation. Lehuriba kambu to saw that may also be a step. Anibak step never. Ay lehuba ay changa paisa. So these are all part of social transformation. Social transformation is a black and white labunate. Sikatang tong haibunate from all sides. Punamakto politicians and academics intellectuals direction pigadavani madu konjan tasan gadavun heba. Mado politicians should fail intellectual and academics should fail in Manipur in underdeveloped societies. That is our problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Oja. So I think we have answered the question as to how we will conceptualize Manipur and how we should have a resilient Manipur. A resilient Manipur is when the Meiteis are more accommodative, more democratic, more so than the past. And we have answered as to how we will transform into that in terms of the identity, the population, the imagination, the territory, and the historicity we need to reinvent ourselves. So with this, we'd like to end the session. Thank you all.
Thank you.